Hey y'all, I'm Megan, and this is the Yes Godcast, and this is the place where we come to integrate our personal will with our divine will that God has for our lives. Yes, God! So today we are going to be talking about flow state and true alignment, okay? And what if alignment isn't always about roses and daisies? What if it isn't always about being happy? But what if it's about being honest enough to stop forcing things that don't feel good for you? And I know that's a tall order because we have been programmed and conditioned to go ahead and push past the pain and push, push, push. And I'm not saying that effort and action is not needed in life, because it absolutely is. But it should be focused in the right direction. It should be focused in the direction where we are actually going to see the fruit of our labor and not just walk away battered and bruised up, okay? So many of us, okay, have been programmed to do things for a result, okay? And I mentioned this in the last episode, is that remember when we were children and we did things because they brought us joy? What if I told you that's actually how we're supposed to be operating as adults? And I know that our experiences, our trauma, our conditioning, the situations that we find ourselves in, we feel like, well, I don't have time to do stuff from joy. Like, I got to make this money. And I hear you. I hear you. And yes, we do have to make this money. However, we can shift to an identity, a version of ourselves that is earning well, being well compensated for doing things that we actually enjoy, that we actually find happiness in. All right. And that starts internally. Okay. We are, again, programmed to go outside. Well, let me look for a new job that I enjoy then. Let me go do this that I enjoy. No, 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 no. The first step in seeing a change in your circumstance and seeing a change in your life is in here. It's not to go out to try and fix the circumstance. It's not to try and make life do this or make life do that or make a person do this or a person or make your money do this or that. No, it is to embody a different identity. Embody the identity that is already happy, that is already whole, that is already successful, that is already complete. And my work here specifically is a hack to do that, right? Because that version is going to be different for every single human being. We all have very unique personalities, very unique circumstances, very unique upbringings. But if we can align with understanding that our true identity is a divine extension of God, is a divine legacy, then that means when we can shift over into that divine identity, then all of the desires of our hearts will open up to us. Okay. Excuse me. We don't need to be concerned with the who, what, where, when, and why, because most human beings are doing this, looking at the clock. Well, when? I was supposed to be a millionaire last year. I was supposed to be a millionaire. Relax. Give it to yourself. This is in the Bible. He who has will be given more, and he who does not have, even what he does have, will be taken from him. Now, when I talk about scripture and Bible verses, I'm talking about states of consciousness, okay? And I did go to divinity school for a year at Shaw University. I did not finish because it, to be honest, pissed me off to learn about the social, economic, political, financial context of the Bible, but that's because I was viewing it from a certain lens. Now that I have matured and gained more wisdom in life, I see that Bible scriptures are simply about choosing a state of consciousness. Are you going to identify as the Son of God, or are you going to identify as not a divine legacy of God? And the subtle, nuanced difference between those two can make a world of difference in how you experience life. And the fact that you can already know that, you know what, I already am fulfilled. I'm already at peace. I already am happy. I already am satisfied. I don't need a particular circumstance, a particular dollar amount, a particular relationship, a particular health condition. I don't need any of those to already give myself that. God has given us an imagination for a reason. We have the power and the ability to identify as whatever it is that we want. And what you'll notice in life is the people who have the audacity, right, to identify as something, even if they don't have the talent, even if they don't have the education, even if they don't have the experience, they had the audacity to identify as that thing. And by golly, wow, the world brought it to them, didn't they? I'm trying not to swear on this podcast. Yes, God. So if I say crazy stuff, you know that I'm trying not to curse, okay? Because I curse a lot. Yes, God. So again, alignment isn't about doing things for results, okay? Alignment isn't about alignment isn't a destination. Alignment is something we have access to now, because the reality is that the things that we're doing in life as human beings are because we want to feel a certain way. That's it. That's the whole reason why a human being does something. They want to feel successful. They want to feel worthy. They want to feel like they're enough, right? Those are the three main things that motivate human behavior. And so what I am proposing is that we can do that and skip the middleman. We can do that before the accomplishment. We can do that before the money. We can do that before the relationship. We can do that before the family. We have access to give ourselves the fulfillment, the peace, and the joy right now, with or without the outcome or the circumstances looking a certain way. Okay? Now, I shared in the last podcast when I first started Yes God Wellness, it was a very serendipitous thing. You know, I had lost my job. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to go start a business. Let me make a business plan. It was like, mama got to pay this rent. Okay? I ain't got it and I got to figure something out. And aligned, right? Divine will and personal will of needing to provide. Okay? And also, one thing I didn't mention in that last podcast is that I had a heart posture change. Okay? I was in a room. Someone asked about yoni steaming. It was something I had already done. And so I was on it, right? I started offering it. I started marketing it on social media and people started coming and I was making money, right? But what I realized happened is that I started to get too focused on the money and I wasn't focused enough on the service, okay? And this is another trap that we get caught up in, is that we prioritize our need, right? That personal will over the divine will, okay? And we let the things that we want to get out of it supersede what we need to give from it. Okay. And I remember the business was doing okay, but it wasn't doing what it needed to do. And I said, God, I need your help. And I remember hearing a very specific response, is that you need to focus on service. This is not just about you. The will that I have for your life is not just about you, Megan. It is about the other people who you are coming into contact with, who you are serving. And when I tell you, I started boohoo crying and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, God. Right? And it can be difficult to keep that priority, right? Because this is life. This is real life. We got to pay bills. We got rent to pay. We got mortgages to pay. We got, you know what I'm saying? We got food we got to buy or grow. And the reality is that aligning yourself with divine will, aligning your personal will with divine will requires a level of surrender. Okay? It requires a level of surrender. So my business was doing well and I was helping women to get back to the divinity within them through yoni steaming. I was getting all types of testimonials. Women were healing fibroids. They were releasing, fibroids. They were getting pregnant after they were unable to conceive. They were clearing up their BV and their yeast infection. I mean, it was just, I didn't even know, to be honest with you. I'm going to keep it a buck. Like, I had no clue yoni steaming did all that. All I knew was that I used it after my traumatic birthing experience. And it did something to my heart. You know, it wasn't just about the physical benefits. It was the trauma release for me. It was about the stillness that I was able to tap into within myself, that God consciousness I was able to tap into within myself, and start taking accountability for myself and start taking accountability for decisions that I was making that weren't giving the best results. And so when I shared that with the world, I became very successful doing that. I made a lot of money. I helped a lot of women. And something that was always there, and I always used to say this, like, I feel like yoni steaming is the Trojan horse to the personal and spiritual development that I'm really, really passionate about. And for a few years there, when I had gotten married and, had a child and then went through a divorce, I noticed that I was feeling this conflict about my business because, yes, steaming and herbs and all my products were what brought me the revenue, right? But my heart was calling me to speak and center and prioritize something else, which is what I'm doing right now. And I had a lot of conflict about it because I was like, well, this is what got me here. How can I just forget about that and leave that? And it was like, you don't have to forget about it. You don't have to leave it. But you do need to surrender and allow yourself to be used the way God wants to use you. And so through my study of, mindset and reality creation and energy and manifestation, something that popped in my head one day was, whatever you want to be, you have to identify as that first and give it to yourself first. And so I did this whole experiment. I did this experiment on TikTok and I announced myself as a millionaire and I made a joke of it and I did Millionaires Anonymous, kind of a play off Alcoholics Anonymous. And I said, hi, my name is Megan. I'm a new money millionaire and I have so much money I don't know what to do anymore. Like, what should I be doing with my time? Where should I be traveling? And it was just an idea that popped in my mind. Now, I didn't let my mind come in and tell me, oh, that's stupid. That's I just went with it. Okay. And that's what flow state is about, is going with those little nudges that you get. So long story short, the video went viral. Okay. It took off. My social medias exploded. My mindset, spiritual work exploded. Okay. And as a result of this, you are watching and listening to this podcast right now. And so what I want to say is that for months prior to that happening, I had dedicated myself. I'm going to post every day and I'm going to follow these content pillars and I'm going to do this and that. And I'm going to make sure that I push, hustle, force. Because we, again, have been trained that the action, the effort, the force is what gets results. And it got results, but it wasn't the results that I was happy with. It wasn't the results that were fulfilling me. Okay. And so again, I didn't know if I should merge the two together, if I should drop one, pick up the other one. All I did was I said, you know what, God, I did all this work. Put all this content out. It's not getting me what I result. You know what? I'm going to let you tell me what to do. I'm going to detach from it. I'm going to detach from the results. I'm going to just detach from it. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Whatever is your will is your will. And that's when I got the idea to do the TikTok video that went viral. And my videos continue to go viral. Why? Because that one, listening to my intuition and not allowing my monkey mind to talk me out of it, that one, listening to my heart and letting my heart lead my decision and not my mind lead my decision, restructuring my inner authority, that opened up a pathway for me now. And my brand is now focused on being able to talk about what I want to talk about. And yes, womb care, womb wellness, yoni steaming is still a big part of that, because especially for women, steaming is a way that we can go internal, right? To connect with that divine identity that we are. So I didn't have to let one go. I just had to be open to doing it a different way. And as human beings, again, we're trained to, well, if I do this, and that, then this is the result. And that's not how it works all the time. Sometimes we have to be open to results or the desires that we want coming a different way, coming in a different timeline. Maybe it's not going to happen today. Maybe it's not going to happen this year. But again, if we can give ourselves that divine identity, if we already know that the desires of our heart are inevitable for us, then we can chill out and relax on thinking that we have to do in order to earn. We don't have to earn things. We are divine extensions of God. We are already worthy. We are already enough. And serendipitously, I'm recording this on Good Friday, and Easter is this Sunday, and sometimes dying on the cross means letting go of the way you think it has to happen, letting go of the who, what, where, when, and why. Okay, letting that go. So what I realize is that surrender is such a powerful tool. We think power comes from action, but the true strength is in surrender and saying, you know what? I don't know. I'm going to open myself up to the infinite possibilities. Okay? And again, there is a time and a place for work ethic and effort, but only if your heart is truly in it. Only if it's something that you would do for free. If whatever it is that you're doing right now to earn your living is not something that you enjoy to the point where you would do it for free, you might want to consider that might not be the divine will for your life. And not to say it's a waste of time, because none of our experiences that we have are in vain. All of the experiences that we have the opportunity to give us wisdom. Okay? Yes, God. So, are you aligned or are you addicted to effort? Okay? Alignment is not always what feels easy, but it's what feels real. Okay? It's what feels energizing to you. And sometimes that can be scary as hell, because again, we get so caught up in the externals. What are people going to think? What are people going to say? How are people going to feel? How are people going to perceive me? Doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter. The most important opinion of anyone on this planet of you is your own opinion of yourself. Your own opinion of yourself will either torture you or liberate you. I'm going to say that again. Your opinion of yourself will either torture you or liberate you. And so what I'm proposing with my work is that if we can go ahead and identify with our divine legacy, that means no matter what I do or don't do, it's still perfect. I'm already fulfilled as an extension of God. What does God need? Nothing. What circumstance does God need to happen or not happen to still be God? Nothing. Yes, God. All right? So, again, flow is not about consistently being happy. It's not about always knowing what's next. It's not about bypassing action. It's not about being passive. It's about what is resonating with your heart. What feels good to you? Is it an immediate yes? Because our bodies give us an immediate answer to things. Either we say yes, God, or no, God. Every human being has that. So when you feel that yes or no, are you going to have the courage to follow it? Even though your mind might try to come immediately after and tell you why it's stupid or tell you why it doesn't make any sense. Okay? And so I just want to talk really quickly about masculine and feminine energies, because there's a lot of nonsense on the internet right now about masculinity and femininity. And what I want to say is that every single individual on this planet has both masculine and feminine energy within them. Okay, if you want to bring it back to science, the left side of the brain is logic, masculine. The right side of the brain is artistic, intuition, feeling, emotion, feminine. Okay? The monkey mind, I would consider masculine, right? It's the logic, it's the telling why, who, what, where, when, and why. The heart, right, is the feminine. The masculine is about structure, boundaries, and direction. The feminine is about openness, receptivity, creation, okay? They were meant to work together. There's not supposed to be a hierarchy, okay? And many of us, both men and women, are overly operating in our masculine energy of trying to structure, plan, direct, boundaries, do. And there's a time for that. But only once we have aligned with the divine purpose for ourselves. Only once we have identified the direction that we're going in through our heart's compass, through the divine GPS that we all have within us. Okay? And when you're not forcing or proving, you make clearer, cleaner choices, right? Because you're doing things because you want to do them. If you observe a person in their home alone, right, they're doing what the fuck they want to do. They're not doing things because of what a person may or may not, or at least I hope they're not. And so we have to have the courage to bring that out into life in general, okay? So we want to stop reacting to life and start co-creating with it. All right. And inside of my reality selection course, I go a lot deeper into that. And I talk about how we can plant seeds that will yield fruits in our life that we want to see. Because whatever circumstance that we see in our life right now is because of seeds that have been planted there, whether they were conscious or unconscious, whether they were from childhood or last week. Okay. But the reality is that whatever circumstance, whatever reality we are seeing for ourselves is a consequence of seeds that have been planted in the soil of our hearts, of our God consciousness. And the thing about our superconscious is that some people call it sub, I call it super. It's very objective, okay? It's just affirmative. You think this life is like this? Okay, I'm going to prove you right. You think life is like this? Okay, I'm going to prove you right. You think all men are this? I'm going to prove you right. You think all women are this? I'm going to prove you right. You think. Whatever you decide to plant in that soil is going to grow. And how do we grow and plant seeds? Through our attention, our focus, and our awareness. This is why it's very important to pay attention to the words that you're speaking, that you're listening to, that you are observing, okay, that you're giving access to. The television shows, the movies, the music, the social media feeds, the gossip, the complaining, all of that stuff is planting seeds. So we want to be very mindful about selecting our reality through selecting the words that we allow to permeate our soil. And the most important person who is planting seeds in our soil is ourselves. So we have to be very mindful about gatekeeping that soil. If you wouldn't want to see it appear in your life, don't talk about it. Don't think about it. Don't watch it. Don't give your attention to it. I can never understand, people that sit there and watch fight and violence, and I never got that. Like, really? That's what you want to see more of? I never understood it. Yes, God, I never understood it. So again, maybe you've tried everything, okay? Affirmations, getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, routines, doing all the things that all the gurus tell you, okay? And maybe you're feeling misaligned and you're feeling unmotivated, okay? Give yourself permission to say, I'm tired, I don't like this. It's okay. You can be doing all the right things and not getting the results because you don't like it. And if you don't like it, you're not going to get the results that you want. And if you do get the results that you want, you're going to be burnt out, depressed, and anxious. Who wants to live like that? Not me. So 3 signs that you're in alignment, okay, or the flow state. You feel clear, even if the path is uncertain. You feel energized by the actions that you're taking, not drained. You are more curious about circumstances than controlling. Okay, these signs are universal, regardless of gender, background, or belief system. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and do an embodiment practice just like the last one, where we just drop into that heart space. We drop into that heart space by dropping into that breath, because the breath regulates what? The heart rate. Heart space is heart rate. The heart rate dictates the heart space. Yes, God. Okay? So when we take that deep breath, we can say, does this feel like love or fear? Does this feel like love or labor? Okay? Give yourself permission to be still. Right? Give yourself permission to just not do anything and just be. Without a phone in your face, without a screen in your face, all right? Without food in your face, without anything in your face. Give yourself permission to just tune into the God that is within you, right? Now, starting April 27th, 2025, depending on when you're watching this video, we are starting the 6-week intensive success sanctuary. And we are going to be walking through all of the embodiment practices and all of the ways that I myself was personally able to switch over to identifying with my divine legacy and allowing myself access to what I like to refer to as lazy river, the flow state. Allowing myself to do what I love, let what I love and what I find joy in lead me, instead of what I think or what I've been trained or even what used to work in the past to get results. I let myself, that doesn't feel good, not fucking doing it. Or, that seems like a really good idea, I'd love to do it. Less strategy, more heart will allow you to access the flow state. And so in that 6-week intensive, we're going to be going through different activities and different ways that we can access that every day, different ways that we can connect back to our heart space, different ways that we can program ourselves to a new self-concept, to a new identity, to understand what our true identity is. Our true identity is divine, no matter what did or didn't happen, no matter what we did, do, or didn't do. No matter what family we did or didn't come from, no matter what our bank account does or doesn't look like, no matter what our relationship does or doesn't look like, okay? None of those things have anything to do with your divine identity, all right? Flow is not about being soft, it's about being sacred, all right? And alignment does not mean that you're not taking action. It means that you're taking inspired right action for you that will allow you to collapse time. Okay, there's Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule. We want to be doing 20% action to get 80% results. And unfortunately, many of us are doing 80% actions only to get the 20% results. No, God. No, God, we don't want to do that anymore. Okay? So, if this episode has been helpful for you, please share it far and wide. Please subscribe to the Yes Godcast and share with someone who is in their pivot season. Because, honey, from 2025 and on, we are not forcing, we are flowing. We are laying back into lazy river. We are no longer whitewater rafting our way through life. And I would love for you to come and meet me in the Success Sanctuary so we can walk through this process together. And if you would interested, check out my reality selection course. I also have a 33-day Millionaire Seeds journal that will help you to reframe your perspective around God, around praying, and around some journal prompts that can help you tap more into your divine self versus that ego logic mind that tries to tell you the who, what, where, whens, and whys, and why it's not working. Yes, God. I will see you next time.